Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Play for Fame TT Corsair Qualifier, I think. Good idea, to actually know what tournament you're casting before you go ahead and announce it, but why not? Why not? So we do have the Shen and Nocturne pick, the bans already. They will be Global Ultimates, and of course, as we know so far, they are pretty much banned in every single game because Global Ultimates are so strong. Interesting enough, some of the games we've seen recently, the AP mids have been going teleport to try and counter that meta, which is very, very clever. Makes sense on a lot of heroes like Galio, like Morgana, who can actually go straight into that team fight on a ward, on a minion, and immediately initiate with the ultimate, and that's what you need. It synergizes with champions like TF and Shen, obviously because that's inbuilt and that's just how the character works. Alistair Ori, Alistair extremely strong and incredibly irritating in the jungle, and extremely strong as a support. Great engage, great CC, great control. Ori, once again, great roaming capability, and as we saw earlier on, didn't we, Vince, with K1ck 1 versus 3 picking up the triple. We know the strength of Ori.
And
yeah.
Especially as kicker against Fnatic and ck, I can definitely understand why you get rid of Ori after that previous performance.
No doubt. And there's Twisted Fate pick. Or ban. Pick up on the ban. Twisted Fate generally seen as a ban in solo queue. I know Nord is really hot on that Twisted Fate. But it makes a lot of sense to just ban it out because it is that global ultimate. If you have someone on the enemy team who's really good with Twisted Fate, I know K1ck has a wide range of champions who can play mid. It makes a lot of sense to ban that one out. And then finally, Urgot. Always the Urgot. Have we seen a game yet without Urgot banned today?
No. We actually haven't. 4 out of 4.
There we go. 100% track record. Fantastic. Waiting for Ware to pick his first pick. Seeing what they take on Kick. Wow, that rhymed. Amazing. Fantastic.
So yeah, you mentioned Alistair before. I think another thing that's really strong about Alistair is that late game, a lot of people kind of bill him as a laning champion, but late game as well, he's a real pain in the backside because he can just start fights. He can also get rid of potential danger threats, like a Kennen, for example. We saw it previously where Dree kept headbutting away Kennen with Slicing Maelstrom. So again, really understandable way to get rid of him, and we are seeing a couple of picks up here. Karthus. Interesting. I haven't seen Karthus in a little while, actually.
I think that's mainly due to him being banned out.
Yeah.
Last couple of games he's definitely been banned. And of course, it's a good idea to take that away from K1ck because he would probably pick that one up. He does also play a lot of champions, as we've said before. But Karthus, Global Ultimate, extremely strong. And the Sona pickup, fantastic. Every single game, Sona. Which is really nice to see. It's a new support coming into the meta where Soraka and Janna have been really dominant. So it's nice to see a new support once in a while with a flavour into the mix.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, something funky's happening. ck, you gonna go Lulu? You saucy minx. No, he's gonna go Malphite and ruin my life.
Oh, what a troll! Oh, that's disgusting. That would have been... People shattering dreams all over the world. Do you feel like a bad person, ck? Honestly. So we might have the tariff pick on. So Malphite, again, one of those tier 1 picks. He is just extremely strong right now. He's a great anti-AD. He works really well top, really well in jungle. Gains a lot of power at level 6, and especially with the cheese wheel. Following with the red buff and with the Fist of Fury, then he's going to be doing a lot of slowing, and of course that is the CC for him. It's not hard CC, so he does rely on his lanes, and immediately Lamia picking up the Ezreal, which we all know he is absolutely fantastic with, and earlier on today he did pick up the pentakill. So it's just it just shows you how great he is with that proc carry up on that one. So we do have Graves on the other team, along with Taric. A great synergizing lane. Taric goes in with the stun, and then immediately Bookshot can be lined up, massive damage, and they can just follow up. Great burst, and Taric really synergizes well with Graves' burst, and that's just how it works.
Yeah, very, very true. Sorry, I was taking a quick drink, you caught me off guard. Yeah, also important to note at bot lane for Fnatic, the Sona and Ezreal burst potential when they both hit level 6 is incredible, and I said this to you in the Elite of Europe, that Orianna is immensely, immensely strong with champions that can set her ultimate up. And I even use the example, characters like Malphite, because Malphite can go with Unstoppable Force, knock everybody up in the air, it's going to be communicated beforehand, and then of course Orianna, as that's happening, can drop the ball onto Malphite, or just throw it in there, in amongst all the action, pop off Shockwave, and it's so much AoE CC damage. It's unbelievably strong. So Fnatic definitely going along with the strong AoE comp because you've also got Crescendo and True Shot Barrage. It's honestly scary to face off against.
Yeah, extremely strong mid game, and just waiting for surprise Butts. I'm not going to pronounce the last part of that name. Uh, so just waiting for that one to come out. And Davey, seeing what they can pull out on this one. Kale and Mundo, okay, and immediately being locked in as well. Mundo, great at counter jungling. We've seen this a couple of times actually, or maybe twice, I think, in the League of Europe. Well, at least once, we definitely did see Mundo as kind of a replacement for Shyvana because he just performed the same role, except he's considerably more tanky and got slightly better ganks early on because he does have the cleaver, which is also ranged. Shyvana, of course, having no CC of her own. Do you have Davey picking up that KO? Most likely going to be top lane. Yeah, it looks like it, and that's again lane bully and great late game scaling, of course, because she's ranged, a lot of damage early on, also because she has magic damage, and that's what makes the top lane so scary sometimes, is the fact they have mixed damage, so you can't really itemize it against it early, and it will just hurt, and that's just how it works. Same with Yorick, same with Irelia, and that's how she's so strong, along with the true damage. 3 sources of different types.
Yeah, I believe it was Odd One that was playing Mundo. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Odd One was taking him. So, Jace? Really?
Jace!
Wow, Cyanide's going to be taking Jace in the jungle. Obviously, Jace can also be played at solo top, but I have not seen Jace played in any competitive tournaments thus far. He wasn't used once in Elite of Europe, but looks like that's going to be the case this time, and Soaz is going to be taking him. So it's going to be Soaz top with Jace. Awesome.
I feel that Jace is a really strong character. It's just that I feel that people had to get time to understand him. He's a lot like Lee Sin and Orianna. They're very, very high skill cap. Very high skill cap. To the point where you just need a bit of time to get used to him. But honestly, if Soaz plays him well, I think he's perfectly viable, and he can pull off some amazing tricks with the swap-ups during those stances, or between those stances.
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you though. I've really not seen much of Jace around, so I am incredibly interested to see how he is going to factor into this game at top. It's not a placement pick, it's not placement holder or anything like that. Soaz is legitimately going to be playing Jace. You're going to have Cyanide in the jungle. Ezreal Sona bot lane, we've mentioned this before, is incredibly strong, but that is a massive AoE comp right now for Fnatic. It's very, very scary. On the other side, you've got some burst thrown in there, but the majority of it's going to be continuous damage. You've got Karthus, you've got Kale, you've got Graves as well. It's very, very scary. And then amongst that, you've also got Mundo, who's going to consistently... He's like the super glue of League of Legends. You can never get rid of this guy, especially with Exhaust.
Exactly. And it's really difficult. They have a great late game scaling comp as well. Obviously AD carry and then 2 AD carries with a Kale, and then Karthus scales really well. But just in a second we are going to switch to a commercial break, so when you come back we will be ready and to go in game between Fnatic and I believe the team name is K1ck. So stay tuned for that one, guys. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Play for Fame Corsair something Cup Qualifier. We literally just said that short-term memory. Oh god. So it's the Sports Cup Qualifiers number 3, and we do have Fnatic versus K1ck. That much I can remember because it's right in front of me. So we will have K1ck going into their jungle. Will we see an invade? What do you think?
Welcome to Summer's Rift.
I'm not too sure. Let's have a quick look at both the teams. You've got Orianna, obviously. I'm expecting Q's going to be taken. There you go, yeah. Attack has been taken first. There's not a great deal of CC available to Fnatic here from level 1. On the other team, K1ck have quite a bit of CC, but look where ck is. He's just recalled, so unless he goes and joins the rest of his team and gets a stun off, I can't really see a lot of action going down. It may be a case that K1ck is setting up for the blue steal here.
Definitely, it certainly looks like it. Lammy is in position, and he has not yet taken the skill, which makes a lot of sense, because if he needs to escape and he's in the pressure position, he needs the arcane shift to just get out of there, and essentially he has 2 flashes, which is always nice in that situation. Obviously last time we did see Janna get caught out of position because she could not actually get over the wall because she was not in range to flash, so Ezreal can close the gap even faster. Stan and Lammy are going to go ahead and look at that bridge. They're not actually going to see K1ck invade because they're moving themselves. What are they trying to do? xpeke will be have seen there. I think maybe the aggressive ward. They know where they are because they were seen by the turret, taking that big wraith, and it looks like both teams are invading. Okay, so Cyanide will be taking the enemy wraiths and the enemy red, and our K1ck have to go for blue now. They invested too much time. Obviously, top has gone back because they need to get into the lane in time, and Jace will be already up there. And Cyanide will be taking up that red with not too many difficulties. We'll see those mids meet each other just for a short while. And bottom lane will meet each other as well. Going out with the book shot. Lamia taking a lot of damage. Ignite goes down. Cleanse immediately out of the Ignite and exhaust. John comes in. First blood with the flash from Prize. And follow up onto Solid. That will be the double kill. Looking for the triple from Cyanide onto Cyanide. xpeke coming in with command attack. No longer got, or doesn't even have the command protect just yet. Only level 1. Cleaver goes down as well. Into the book shot. Following up from Burning Agony. Burger Agony. And that will be 3-1. xpeke taking a lot of damage as well, so Railway will have the advantage in mid for a significant while. 3 kills already. That was huge punish coming out from K1ck straight onto Fnatic this early on into the game.
Burger Agony, too strong, dude. That was actually reminded me of the Elite of Europe with TSM's Jungle Invade. That really backfired, and I think actually in that case it was a 3-0 that backfired. This time 3-1. But look at Graves. The dude is on 2-0-1 already, and on top of that he got first blood. So it's looking really difficult right now for Ezreal right off the bat. 2 Doran's Blades coming back to lane against 6 health pots and a mana pot. Pretty big difference.
Oh, Graves coming out with the pun on his own name. Surprise. I like it. I like it.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Good. That was terrible. Anyway, so Lamia laning against a 2 Doran's Blade Graves. Duh, that is horrible. They have an extremely strong lane dominance game. But even so, they're actually going to go in with the bookshot. Massive burst coming out. He's already down to about 25% HP. Trying to trade out the Taric, which makes no sense because he has more armor. Because Taric is naturally tanky, along with the Shatter when he levels it up. It doesn't make a lot of sense to focus support in any situation unless you can immediately burst him down. But yeah, Lamia that was kind of like a test of strength, and now he knows he can't trade straight up. And it's really sad considering Lumi has gone immediately for the triple mana potions, so looking for a lot of lane harass, but that really won't pay off because they have sustained. The further ahead, they're going to be more levels ahead, and they have the double Dorans. Already putting out those wards as well. It's not looking good for them at bottom. Meanwhile, in mid, of course, xpeke had the disadvantage because he was on low health, and Warrior always has that first blood. Did not go back, however, but on that first back is going to snowball pretty hard in that direction. So as against Davey at top, and would you like to take us through what we're talking about just briefly in the break?
Well, I think that I got this actually. Somebody mentioned this to me in the LoL client, and I agree with it. That Soaz is a very strong Nidalee player. Actually, do you want to quickly head to bot? No, never mind. I thought for a second that Ezra might go down.
Yeah.
Soaz is a very strong Nidalee player, and You see, Jace is very similar to Nidalee himself. So, neither of them have an out-and-out ultimate, they just switch forms. Nidalee, of course, the Cougar form, and Jace between melee and range. So in that sense, it does make actually
meanwhile, bottom Butts going straight onto Ezreal, pops the Ignite. He will be safe on very low HP. Ignite still ticking off, and Ignite has been burnt, but they've definitely got the dominance. Actually, Lumi turning around, doing quite significant damage to Taric in turn. However, Lamia is out of mana. Lumi has to be careful, taking that buckshot, but Butts no longer has the mana to really do much here. Go ahead.
What time you on, dude? It seems you're a bit behind.
5:43. 44.
Okay,
5,
you're a second
6.
or two behind. No problems. We can have a gank at bot, actually.
And Lamia's going to turn around immediately. Get the kill. Solo will be picking that one up, and that will be a quick kill. Obviously, not great to have it on the support, but still, it will allow her to get that early goal per 10, which is really, really nice. It's odd because my client says it's up to date. Hang on, I'll just try and fix this.
No problems. If any action goes, I'll just quickly jump in. But yeah, I think Jace and Nidalee are fairly similar in a lot of aspects, so it makes sense that Soaz would like to play both of them. Plus the fact with the Accelerate the Gate and the Q, it fires through, and it's very similar to like a Nidalee Javelin in that case, but obviously does go through targets and goes much, much further dependent on how he fires it. So at first I was a bit kind of confused, but when you actually ever think about it from Soaz, it makes a lot more sense.
Definitely, and so is actually putting pressure onto Davey already. Generally, as we talked about, Kale is that real lane bully, and for Soaz to turn around and do really well, of course he's got the Mercury Cannon, so he also has the range, but I believe it's 500, and I can't remember what Kale with the Righteous Fury, I think it's slightly more, just slightly, I think it's like 525, but even so, he's able to respond in kind pretty well, and I suppose that's kind of like the soft counter to Kale top, because generally she is, as we've been saying, that lane bully, which he's handling really well. But of course, that natural skill of Nidalee has got to help somewhere.
Yeah, so let's have a quick look at some of the items that are being built up. Obviously, Graves had a huge, phenomenal lead right from the get-go with the first blood and 2 quick fire kills with an assist. He's got the Berserker's Greaves and the Double Doran's Blaze of 400 gold, and Ezreal's making somewhat of a comeback. It's actually 10 CS ahead.
Sorry, meanwhile at blue, Cyanide going in, xpeke popping the ultimate will land it on 2 people, now following after xpeke taking the burst to the face, and while the Butts damage, Soaz trying to flash over, picking up the kill onto Ware, gonna go down, but he's now in Defy Death, trying to get this one, and Requiem will go down, picking up the kill onto Soaz, Butts now following after Lumi, and Lamia coming after them. Butts trying to get over the wall. There's the double flash, a flash after by Solar, looking for blood, trying to pick this kill up. There it is onto Taric. Wow, angry, angry Sona. And are they looking for Drake? I'm not sure if they have the health for it at the moment. Actually, Malphite heading down, they could easily do this if Lamia just pulls it out. Yeah, they should be good to go.
Indeed, Malphite is en route, and interestingly enough, Ezreal was in a really sticky situation at the beginning, but now look, he has majorly came back. 10 CS ahead of Graves. Graves is going to try and do something, but I don't think he has any hope of taking 3 players on his own, but Mundo from the side, actually.
Just throwing files all day, it's fine, and he actually stops them from doing it. Butts on no mana, 50% HP, but Warrior was on his way back as well, so was Taric. But even so, I think they could have picked that up in time. Even so, it's good for them not to overcommit. And Ezreal saying something that's obviously a swear word and has been filtered. It's fine. xpeke picking up that with the dissonance, and that blue invade will not happen. So they will be backing off. Score's pretty similar. 11.5k to K1ck and 12.2k to Fnatic. So pretty even at the moment. And what do you think will happen in the first couple team fights?
I think it's really going to depend on how well Peke and also Cyanide synchronize their ultimates. I think a lot of it's going to come down to how does Unstoppable Force and Shockwave work together, because it's so much AoE burst potential that if they catch, for example, a Karthus, he's going to go down in a blink of an eye. If they get a Graves and a Taric, as tanky as they actually are, they'll also go down very, very quickly. A gank in mid.
And Soaz going to pop that, immediately pop the flash from Ware, makes a lot of sense. Because Soaz can follow up with the Thundering Strike and knock him immediately back into xpeke. He will be heading up top very quickly.
Yeah, so as I was saying before, I think a lot of it's going to come down to how well Orianna and Malphite pull together. If they can land that perfect combination of ultimates, they're pretty much going to slap the opposition down to at least 50% HP in an instant. And then you've got Ezreal dumping in with the True Shot Barrage, you've got Sona as well with the Crescendo. It's just so much damage in a short period of time. But again, we said this before, Pulse, it's all well and good having the composition, it's whether you can execute that plan to perfection or not.
Definitely, and kind of have nice late game scaling, so they can hold out. They might be good at, but as you said, massive AoE from that comp. Actually, Davey taking a lot of damage from Soaz, and Soaz will just knock him away. It's fine, because his ultimate was wearing off, but I'm not sure if it warranted just knocking him away from that. But he is able to just bully him out of there. So I guess in that sense, Jace is the same. He is a lane bully in that respect. I'm kind of comparing him at the moment to Nidalee and Lee Sin, like a combination of those two.
I think he's incredibly similar to Nidalee in a lot of aspects, and I can see where your comparison to Lee Sin comes from. I think, honestly, a good Jace is ridiculously strong, but a bad Jace is pretty much trash. And Soaz is doing a beautiful job so far at the top lane with Jace. So I'm really in awe and just excited to see how Jace scales through into this game, because, as I said before, haven't seen him played at this level before.
Definitely, it looks like Soaz might be pretty much the first competitive Jace, which is really great to see. Could be the start of a beautiful relationship. No, so we do have Mundo moving up into the top jungle. Does have red buff, got a lot of slow. Might be looking for the lane gang, or he might just be holding it actually. Meanwhile, at bottom, they are trading off. Ultimate goes down by Karthus, picking up the kill immediately onto Sona. It just goes to show that massive burst from Graves and Tarek it's literally insta-gib. There was literally no time to react to that one. Even as a shoutcaster, there was nothing you could do. Meanwhile, at top, Jace looking for the kill, however, has been slowed, and that will be the pickup onto him as well. 1-for-1 trade, however, assist from Karthus as well. So they came out slightly ahead on that one. Mundo also coming in for the assist, but alas, he died too quickly. But all over the board, there's a lot of burst. And Prize Butts just, yeah, he has a lot of burst. That's what the bottom lane is. That's their composition right there.
I think it's just going to come down to who puts down the combination first. You know, because Crescendo and Malphite's Unstoppable Force is so much CC that even though the opposition here of K1ck Esports have a lot of burst themselves, at that stage they are just well and truly down and out. Again, as I said before, it's down to the execution. And I honestly believe that around Drake and around Baron, we are going to see some blisteringly epic team fights in this game. Everything lines up for that happening.
Definitely, and is now 12 minutes, nearly 13 minutes into the game. Drake is up. We could see this at some point in the near future, but at the moment, let's take a look at the items. So immediately, we do have the Rod of Ages picked up in Karthus, which makes a whole lot of sense because that is very cool. We've spoken about this several times. All goes down by Lumi up at that Drake area, and Fnatic just pushing mid as well on K1ck. So Sona's been spamming out the mana potions even this late into the game. Do you think that's a wise idea, or do you think it's a waste of money? What's your opinion on that one?
I think it's just kind of meh. It's down to the player at the end of the day. Mana pots I've never personally been a massive fan of, but you can understand why.
Sorry, meanwhile, our top's Fnatic going straight on to that top lane with Navy. Just massive burst coming from Soaz and Sion. They have a lot of upfront burst, and meanwhile, looks like K1ck want to follow up onto the strictly no two players are 4 versus 3. It looks like Fnatic really aren't going to do too much about this one. They're just going to go ahead and push out their lanes, but the Fnatic are pushing top as well, so they might actually get more dominant all over the board on this one if they do get some turret or at least some damage. Worry on his way back to mid, so Oriana has to be careful. And Mundo looking for a gank at bottom as well, but he's just going to go ahead and recall and continue your train of thought.
Well, what I was going to say is that Sona went for Heart of Gold before the Philosopher's Stone. I think that's reflected in how Graves started very, very strongly. Well, thought for a second that Tarek and Graves were going to completely butcher Lamia, but not to be the case. For mana pots for Sona makes sense because she has to spam away those abilities a lot to get the power chord. Also because Sona is quite an aggressive support in the sense that she puts out a lot of burst damage. So it makes sense for Sona, but still I'm not sold on mana pots overall, to be honest, especially not 3 of them. That's just how I look at it. I think it's personal preference. It comes down to the player at hand. What do they feel comfortable with? How do they utilize that in their game style?
Definitely, I have to agree with that. Considering a lot of the time, you generally just don't see it. So, yeah, that really just makes sense to me. But then again, you know, it could be a new meta, especially in Lumi's world. So we'll see how this turns out for them at bottom. But obviously, I suppose they had to have the sustain because Grace had that massively strong early game those 2 kills. Just looking to see what's going to happen. 2k ahead right now for Fnatic, so they're in a good position, and I just think they need to force a fight. Mundo's going to take that red as well, and honestly not too much happening. And meanwhile at bottom, But's going immediately with the burst. Ultimate goes down by Carthus as well. k1ck actually getting exploded. But's now trading with Lamia. Lamia looking maybe to turn this one around, but But's does have his bookshot up, and that's a lot of burst damage, and that is the insane burst of bot lane. You just got to be so careful. You're out of position for a split second, they can follow up, stun goes down, ultimate goes down, and then dead. You're a dead support, and that's when focusing support is good, when you have a burst lane. And k1ck and Graves actually, Graves has got the ignite, which makes a lot of sense because it synergizes with his burst. So as looking to invade the jungle here, Warray trying to stop him and deter him. They do have a water, they see Warray and Davey coming up, expected there as well. And Davey will get the steal, Sana coming in with the unstoppable force, ultimate going down, and now trading off, flash over the wall, great ultimate from xpeke onto Soaz, now looking to clean up the mess, John turning around, trying to do some damage with the Burger Agony, and now following after Warray. He's got completely no mana. Acceleration gate goes out, misses. Flash goes down as well. xpeke looking to follow up on this one. Flashes over the wall. Commander tag into dissonance. Following up with the auto attacks once again and the attack. Still following, missing the last command attack. Soaz following after, looking for one more auto attack. There it is. And he will be falling. He does not have the Requiem. And if that Requiem was up right now, easy double kill.
I tell you what, Warray, even though he died and didn't kill either of these players, I think he needs a special mention. That was such good juking. He juked like 3 balls in a row. That was ridiculous. He very nearly picked up a double kill on top of everything else. And as you say, if he had the Requiem, that would have been a double kill every day of the week.
Exactly. It just goes to show he's really good with balls. I mean, what? So, Mundo's is coming out with at base again. He's got the Oracle's Elixir, and he's looking to build the Warmog, which is pretty standard on Mundo because his passive scales from more health than he has, and it just makes a lot of sense. He's pretty much the only character in the game where stacking health is viable. Obviously it's not great because Mundo early on can be counterpicked like champions on hit, like k1ck, like Vayne, who can just chunk through his armor and health, which really doesn't help. I mean, k1ck will still deal a lot of damage because it's percent, and that's always going to be very, very evil. xpeke looking to steal this, and not going to happen. John actually smiting that one, and there will be the file. Sonnet actually coming up as well. Distance goes out, and I honestly like how they've put Orianna back into play. It's a lot more fluid with the ball because they've reduced the global cooldowns, and you can definitely see that from the playstyle. And I think that's how Orianna's coming back into it now. It's quite nice.
Yeah, one thing that we didn't mention before actually is a ridiculous movement speed boosts that Fnatic have. So you've got the dissonance from Orianna, the acceleration gate coming in from Soaz's Jace, Sona's movement speed boost, and then on top of that, Shirelia's Reverie. Like, put together, that is completely disgusting.
Yeah, for sure. It's just mobility, and mobility has always been strong in League of Legends, along with CC. Mobility has always been huge. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Also going down by Carthus, looking to pick up the kill onto someone. Meanwhile, bottom, Butt going straight onto Lumi, looking for the kill. Ignite goes down, one more auto attack, ultimate from Lamia, cannot follow up on this one. Popping the ultimate, obviously, from Carthus to try and get the assist, I assume, or maybe it was a misclick, and they were trying to follow up on it. Meanwhile, in mid, Warray popping the wall, going on to xpeke. Shockwave goes down, one more auto attack, ultimate goes down with the intervention. Sinai comes in from the sides as well, picking up a kill onto Warray. He's now out of range to do anything against the rest of the team. John just getting nudged away by Soaz. Kind of funny. And bottom lane will be moving back into position, just moving up just in case anything happened, if a full-blown team fight happened, and they will be able to support their team. Good reactions on k1ck's part.
Definitely. So going back to that movement speed increase before, alongside Malphite, they can put themselves in really good positions very, very quickly. And it's going to be difficult actually for k1ck Esports to get out of contention. When Malphite with that movement speed is chasing towards you, he is going to hit whichever target he wants to. And it's going to open up things very, very nicely for Fnatic here. So if you have a quick look at some of the items being built up around the map, Malphite's going to be building fairly standard. It's probably going to be Frozen Heart first. And Orianna actually has a large rod on top of a Chalice of Harmony, so she's going to be fairly tanky compared to Carthus, but on top of that outputting a lot of damage. But you have to say that Carthus with Rod of Ages, we've said it time and time again, very much a standard item for him, and it really is delivering right now. He's got 3 kills and 3 assists, so it's pretty much anybody's game. It's going to come down to these team fights throughout Dragon that we're about to see now.
Definitely. Just pogoing out by both teams. Wall goes down as well from Karthus. xpeke just walking through it. Just poke fest at the moment, but obviously Fnatic do have the upper hand. You do have the files coming out, but obviously not the same poke that Fnatic has. Those layways will start to mount up, but of course you do have the AoE from that great Q from Jace. Looking to start this Drake right now from Fnatic. They are ripping through it quite quickly, in fact. xpeke just trying to zone them as the AP carry. Wow, the damage, just the poke alone onto Prize Butts. And Worry just zoned away. Fnatic have a great zoning game, and now they're actually looking for the engage as well. Ball goes down, no dissonance as of yet. Soaz leading the charge, slowing down Worry. Flash goes down. Ultimate goes on by Cyanide, hitting 3 people. Ultimate goes down, lands on all 5 people. Ultimate goes down by Sona as well, completely cleaning up the mess. 5-4-0. Karthus just sitting in the middle, not able to do anything. Wow, talk about wombo combo.
That is how you do it, right there. Fnatic, I'm kind of speechless. That was the movement speed, that was Malphite's ultimate landing, that was the AoE composition that we've been talking since the very first minute of this game. All coming together in a beautiful flourishment of awesomeness. And Fnatic, out of that exchange, is just going to go ahead and probably take an inhib. At least an inhib tower. Unbelievable play. There's not much you can really say about that apart from Malphite landed his ultimate to perfection. Orianna followed up on it, as I said before. Malphite opens that ulti for her so comfortably that all she has to do is point and click, and wham, everybody is pushed together. Ezreal ultimate pushes right through them afterwards, and after that stage is like nobody left alive. There's nothing that you can do against that combination if it lands properly. And what a crisp execution it was from Fnatic.
Exactly, and that has put them 10k ahead, 8-17. It's just not looking good for Kick right now. They can force fights wherever they want, and if they can get a combination like that off again, it's just pretty much GG, because that was just perfect. Oh, and steals the blue as well. xpeke on top form right now. Absolutely amazing, but that AoE composition, when it lands, it just rips into the opposition. xpeke being really ballsy right now, going in, landing Shockwave onto But, can't quite get the kill just yet. Soaz leading the charge, taking a lot of damage. He will also fall in turn. Worry chaining up, ultimate goes down by Cyanide, ultimate by Lamy as well. Kale completely out of position, Cyanide looking to pick up the kill onto Taric. Grand Slam goes down in to protect, and the ball, straight for the dissonance. That will be the pick up 4-4-1, straight onto Soaz, soaking up all that damage for his team, looking for the inhib and looking for the cleanup onto Kale. And wow, didn't even need to land all of the skills onto the entire team, just needs it on the carry.
Well, what can you say? I mean, they pushed themselves so far ahead in that previous team fight that we caught, you know, just massive amounts of AoE, that this time around all they had to do is land a couple of abilities and it set the stage for them perfectly. So 21 for 9, inhib in mid is down now, and some big items are being completed. Look at Orianna's gold, 2,700 to spend. She already has a Rabadon's death cap. Going to be just finishing off that Athene's Unholy Grail in one big swoop. You got a Last Whisper and Trinity Force onto Jace. That's going to be really scary. And the other important thing is that, similar to a Nidalee in some circumstances, depending on how you build her, Jace at the moment is able to be both a bruiser and also an AD kind of range carry at the same time. So late game, he is ridiculously strong, especially with this build. Like, he can just maneuver around the forms. If you need him to get in their face and chunk them down with the hammer, no problems, you can do that. If you need him to stand at range and just basically watch the devastation unfold from both Malphite and Orianna, no problems, he can do that too. He's very difficult to counter in these circumstances as they stand.
Yeah, he's very flexible. Like, if he falls behind and he's on like 20% HP, Mercury Cannon, I'll carry on hitting you. One of the very few champions who can do so. Worry leading the charge into this one, looking to suicide as fast as possible. Knock away, he's gonna fall before he can do some real damage. Ultimate goes down by Lumi as well, looking for the ultimate and the perfect combo once again, chunking down 3 people. That will be the ace immediately. Raccoon goes down, picking up the kill onto Cyanide. But, oh my god. And, you know, the best part, Lamia was not even in that fight. GG, well played, and there's the surrender vote. Oh, that was such an amazing combo.
They simply don't need him. If they land the Malphite Crescendo, if they land the Unstoppable Force, the Crescendo, and the Shockwave, it's game, set, and match right there. They don't need the AD carry. They've really set up for this AoE comp of destruction and death. And it landed twice perfectly, and kind of semi-landed the other time when they still cleaned it up very comfortably. So it's one of those games where sometimes as casters, Pulse, and I'm sure you can kind of relate to this, we go into a game and we say, wow, their composition is amazing. This is going to happen, this might happen, this might happen. But then the execution's off and none of the above actually occurs. And then sometimes, like in this game, we call from the beginning, if Malphite and Oriaka can kind of consecutively put down their ultimates, it's scary, scary stuff. Crescendo on top of that, scary. And everything came through as we expected to happen. And not just that, but it actually came through better. The crisp execution made K1ck Esports basically just vaporize in a matter of milliseconds. There is nothing they could have done. They didn't even make that many mistakes. It was just that Malphite and Oriana were completely in unison in everything they did this game. Incredible to watch.
Exactly. There was very little to add on that one. So, thank you for watching, guys. We will be swapping to a commercial break, and when we get back, we will be seeing what game we are in next. So, for that one, stay tuned.